Well, welcome to another episode of Key Conversations. I'm Katy Norman.
I'm CJ Norman.
And this is the podcast where we share real stories, simple frameworks, and honest advice that we would give our own friends and family members and do. So whether you're buying a home, selling your home, or just making smart decisions with the house that you're living in, this is for you.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about a very hot topic, which is relocations.
Absolutely.
I swear that every third client I work with is either relocating to the Twin Cities or going to Florida or Arizona.
There are a lot of the people leaving the cold.
Yeah.
Not as much this time of year, but
right. Yeah, enjoy the summer, then get out. But man, we've had a lot of good episodes on various topics, and I'm like, we haven't done one on relocation.
Yeah.
I mean,
your cord's hitting your microphone.
your cord's hitting your microphone.
It's not. It's behind my chair.
So anyways, today's purpose is to kind of go over what that looks like from our end, how people can kind of see the process as a whole and not be so, I don't really know what to do. Not treating, if they have to sell a home and move here, not treating them like two separate things, but like one big process that's kind of commingled and interwoven, and just to get a lot of guidance. So
just to kind of reiterate what you just said is we work with a lot of relocation clients, and it's a little bit more challenging. And I think that people think it's a harder thing than it needs to be, but working with the right realtor can make a huge difference in making this as seamless as a process as humanly possible. And so we're going to dig into some of the ways that we make that better for you and some of the things that we would recommend that you do. So,
well, real quick, I just want to say people don't know what they don't know. Kind of like us with some of our guests and our CPA and stuff. We're always like, I don't even know what questions to ask. So I'm at this open house 3 weeks ago. And, it was a busy one. A lot of people came through, and this one couple walked in and, just got to talking. I wonder, maybe they watched this and they were like, that's me. They got to talking, and so I asked them a couple questions. Are you from the area? And they're like, no, I'm from Texas. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Get to talking more, and I'm like, I'm sure you're covered and have an agent and everything. But it turns out they said they don't, which is wild. Their plan is literally to get on a plane, take like a long weekend twice a month, just take some PTO and get on a plane and just do a bunch of open houses until they find the right home. And I'm like, you totally can do that. Or we can see like 10 homes in a weekend outside of open houses as well, like very focused. And they're like, oh, that's an option? I'm like, totally an option.
Absolutely an option. So just like when you're a regular home buyer, so if you've bought a home before, this is familiar. If you have not bought a home before, essentially the first step, I guess I kind of wanted to like high level talk through the beginning of the process, because the beginning of the process is where we can make the most difference in how smoothly this whole thing goes. So when we first start working with a client, we are going to jump on a consult, and we just do those over Zoom or Google Meet or just virtually. So we talk about what, the process from start to finish. What does that look like? What does that look like for your specific scenario? So if you're relocating, obviously that's a little bit different. We've talked about new construction in the past. That's a little bit different. So whatever your scenario is, we'll get granular on that. And then if you're relocating and you're not, here, then we're going to do a lot more upfront virtual stuff to try to understand, get really crystal clear on what you're looking for, what you like, what you don't like, what areas you're wanting to look at. And something that's really challenging for somebody that's relocating is if you've never lived in the area, you don't know anything about the areas. And technically as realtors, we have rules on what we can and cannot share about like geographical areas.
Yeah.
And neighborhoods and things, so
we cannot give our opinion on, is this a good neighborhood? Is this a bad neighborhood? That goes back to the time, when things were not so chill and, realtors and lenders did that, they put people in different parts of town based on
color of their skin.
Socioeconomic, and it became a problem.
Yeah.
So it's been banned.
Right. So reason that we're not allowed to do that, and it is for good reason, is it's seen as steering. So like it's, I'm going to convince you that this is the neighborhood you should live in based on what I know about you.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely wrong. We should not, we can't do that.
Totally agree with that. It's just a little bit of a weird conversation up front because people are like, oh, tell me, is this a good neighborhood? Is this a good school district? Like all these questions about my opinion. And I'm like, you got to go on ChatGPT and ask those questions or do it yourself. I can't actually give my opinion.
Right. So. Another one of the things that came up in the past that is a reason that this is a rule is they used to do redlining. So they would literally redline where, black people and white people could live in different communities.
Right.
So
that's a long story or short story long or long story long.
Yeah. So I like to go in. These obviously the details of why don't really matter to your relocation, but I like to explain why because I want to know why you can't tell me something if I'm interested in, if I come to you, CJ, and I'm like, hey, I want to know about this neighborhood, and you're like, I can't tell you.
Well, I can give you stats. There are 7,500 people in this neighborhood. I don't know, or this city.
Yeah, and we can point you to stats. We can point you to resources. Some of the things that some of the other things that we can do up front when we're talking about neighborhoods or looking at neighborhoods is what are you looking for in a neighborhood? So getting crystal clear on that. And then we can essentially reverse engineer it too and help you. We can essentially do a virtual tour of the Twin Cities just on a map.
Yeah.
I like to pull up Google Maps. This is a trick that I use is to look around on the street view, and you can actually little guy can walk around the street and turn around.
Yeah, that's been a thing for 20 years.
I know, but it is so underutilized.
I know. It really is.
I don't think that most people do that when they're looking for a home relocating. And so I have plenty of people that will pull up a house and they're like, hey, can I go see this house? I'm like, hey, just so you know, there's a warehouse building next door to this, a big commercial or they're like, oh, I didn't even notice that. And it's all you had to do was pull up the satellite view of the house, not even the street view. But if you pull up the street view, it's oh, there's a commercial parking lot next to my house. Do I want that? And some people are okay with it, some people aren't. So it's a huge resource. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's kind of part of our process in the beginning, going, and obviously we have our bullet points here to talk about some of the main things, and maybe I'm skipping a step, but yeah, getting that clear up front, do you want to live next to an industrial area? Does that matter to you? Finding that out sooner so that when people say, oh, let's add this to the list. Like you said, we could just say, let's not add that one to the list because you said you don't want that area or that kind of neighborhood vibe.
Yep. Busy street too. I had someone send me a house that they wanted to look at recently. And I was like, hey, did you notice that? I know the address is the side street that this is on, but the other street that it's really on is a busy highway. It was on Highway 55. So it's a busy highway. So
I'm also thinking of this time, I think it was last year when it was a really busy time and it was I didn't have any time. I barely could even go to the gym, right, in a day. And I had these clients that I had shown a bunch of houses to, but I kind of forgot, I didn't forget, just didn't do that upfront step in its entirety. And they were like, oh, let's go see this house. And I quickly looked through the pictures and I'm like, looks good. So we get to the house and they're like, yeah, it's a really nice house. And I'm like, so do you see yourself living in a house like this? And they were like, nope. And I'm like, well, why? You said you liked it. And they're like, I do, but there are a bunch of townhomes in the neighborhood right next door. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, we should have talked about that up front because we could have seen that, and not spent an hour and a half, 2 hours drive time total.
Yeah. So in the home buying process, in the consult, we'll go through the home buying process. And so it's, meeting your realtor, which, obviously we hope is us. Then connecting you with a lender. If you're financing, obviously if you're buying in cash, that's a different story. You don't need a lender on your team. And then additionally, after that, we like to do the home tour next, which is, in a traditional sense of the home buying process, is where we go see a few homes and start to understand what you like, what you don't like. And if you're buying like from afar and relocating, we're absolutely going to want to do that step, but we're going to want to do like a precursor to that where we try to eliminate some of the things that you like and don't like up front, so that when you come to visit, we can be very intentional with your time, that we can see the houses that would actually be the potential house that you want to, and we can eliminate some of those, fluff, like time fillers or not even time fillers, time suckers, because they are not what you're looking for. So that's kind of our goal there, is before this home tour, is what can we do ahead of time? And so that could be looking through photos. I like to tell people and help them be their own best advocate too, because photos of houses can either be really good or really bad, and sometimes they do the house too much justice and sometimes they don't do it enough. So I look in and like zoom in on pictures and see like little things that I can notice. Sometimes if you zoom into the baseboard, you can see that it's pulling away from the wall, or you can see like separation in the hardwood floors, or little paint, like paint on things that it got onto the ceiling or got onto the trim that it wasn't supposed to. And that just kind of gives you a little bit of insight into how the house is probably taken care of and like what the condition of it is. And sometimes it's a little bit worse than what the photos show. So those are some of the things that
just having a clear plan, so that day one, when somebody relocating here lands, the airport, we're not wasting any time, like you were saying. Like we're 85-90% of the way there with the first house we walk into. Absolutely. Unlike maybe a buyer traditionally that lives here, it's like, hey, why don't we go see a bunch of homes just to kind of get a contrast on what you may or may not like. And it's not really wasted time. It's just, part of the process. But when somebody's coming from Texas or Florida or wherever, and they only have like really 24 full hours, in a weekend to go see a bunch of places, we want to make sure we're crushing it. We're getting them the houses that they want, that they had in their mind because of all the upfront work.
Right.
So
and we want to prioritize the best ones and the best options for them, rather than, if you see too many houses and they're all a bummer.
They blend.
You get disappointed, overwhelmed. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like the fatigue of it all, buyer fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where buyers, get burnt out on this process. And our goal is to eliminate that burnout feeling and that overwhelmed feeling. We want you to feel good about the process. And we want to make this as easy and seamless as we can. Yeah. And I think that we do a really good job at this because we've helped multiple people and we have a system around it. Now,
figuring out the right areas is important too. So up front, we can't give our opinions, and nor should it really matter, our opinions on what neighborhoods we like or what towns. But beyond that, just your lifestyle. Are you somebody who doesn't want to have a car? Maybe you work remotely and you don't really need to go into the office or something, and you just want a high walkability score. You want to be able to walk to the grocery store like 3 times a week to get food, and walk to the gym, walk to anything you need to do. So taking that into consideration can really cross off like certain parts of the Twin Cities, because you just can't walk to all those things.
Right. Or if you have kids, school districts obviously usually is one of the things that is a high priority. Obviously there are plenty of different factors. If you have friends or family in the area, you likely want to be around them. I would also lean on them because they can tell you what they think about a neighborhood. And if they're your friend and family member, they probably know you. So they probably know, they obviously know you. Not probably know you, but they obviously know you.
They know for sure.
And they'll be able to help you like kind of dial in where you should be looking.
Yeah. And I feel like I just exhaust this. And I always feel like every time we're doing this podcast, I'm like, oh yeah, my advice is to ask ChatGPT. But seriously, back before AI, which was only a couple years ago, weird. I feel like it's new, but it's been here forever. People would go to like police blotters to see like safety of neighborhoods. They would look at old Google articles to see about school districts and how they rank and everything. So now I'm like, hey, the power of the internet is in this one app, and you can ask it all those questions and then further ask, and you can figure it all out. So I always recommend, you want to know about a neighborhood, school districts, any of that stuff, the safety, whatever, just go to an AI and figure it out. And then
You could also essentially reverse engineer that too,
Yeah.
and say like, hey, ChatGPT, I am moving to the Twin Cities and I'm looking for a neighborhood like this, or this is what you should know about my family, and this is what I want. I want XYZ, and get crystal clear on this. So this is where we're doing that upfront work to understand, because sometimes people don't know what they want.
that's where we come in.
Right.
Too. We can ask the good questions, unlike a ChatGPT that just tells you kind of some stats and stuff.
So you want to get really, really crystal clear. I mean, I guess you could ask ChatGPT to help generate some questions to help me figure out what it is that I want in a house potentially.
I've tried doing that. It's still not there yet.
I believe it.
So we're still employed.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is good. I mean, I think that this is a human connection business, so I'm not too worried about that one. But AI is a great tool and resource to use in the process for sure. I highly recommend it. So you could get crystal clear on what you want. Tell ChatGPT like, hey, where should I be looking in the Twin Cities? And then if you want to verify with us, like, hey, we're thinking about this because of this, we can, I think we can safely say like, yes, that fits the boxes that you're looking to check.
Sure. Yeah. And also making sure that people's visits into town do count.
Oh, absolutely.
First thing that comes to mind is and hopefully this was done, before even like scheduling tours. But if you're not using cash, which most people aren't, I think 1 in 4 is the stat today that buys a home in cash, which to me is a lot.
That's actually substantial.
Yeah. But if you're using a lender, you don't want to start, you want to talk to the lender and see, what do I qualify for? And then also, what am I comfortable paying a month?
Oh, yeah.
So if you're qualified for a $700,000 home, but you look at the monthly payment, you're like, not a chance am I living with that payment, for a mortgage, tax, everything. Talking with a lender about, hey, what would that price ceiling be on a home for me to stay under this within budget? So having that is huge, because we don't want to be falling in love with homes that are more expensive than we are comfortable affording, right?
Absolutely
because obviously the more expensive homes are like, wow, this could be on like a TV show. Like, this is amazing. So we don't even want to look at those really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Because that can just lead to disappointment as well.
Right.
Which we do not want.
Or trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's like, how do we make that house this price? It's like, it doesn't work that way, Right.
And now, if we know what you're looking for, I've had buyers, and I know you have too. Some people come and they make like trips every so often, and right before their trip coming up, we plan out their schedule of the houses that we want to see, and we narrow that in. And then they get here, we go see them all, and then hopefully there's a little bit of free time for them to go check out like a restaurant or something in the neighborhood to like feel how do I like this
we'll
here.
We'll give recommendations on good restaurants.
Yep, absolutely. we can tell people those kind of things.
It's in our wheelhouse. Yeah.
But I've had people that don't make a trip here at all and buy completely off of trust
and video and stuff. I've had that happen multiple times, but it's been mostly good. And then the inspection period is more of like a confirmation, but it's also resulted in wow, the pictures and even the walkthrough video just didn't do it. The in-person is so much different. And one of the family members was like, I can't do it. So we actually backed out. So it's like, there is a risk to doing that.
There for sure is a risk to doing it.
You're probably good. Like 8, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can't show everything through video, but
can't feel it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And obviously, like a lot of listings, like on our listings, we try to do video on most of them. Obviously, there's a select few that for some reason there may not be a video, but obviously we can always take you on a virtual tour anyways. But those virtual tours, I think, are really important. And having someone that can use technology well is also very important, because I don't know if you've ever talked to like a parent or a grandparent on FaceTime and they
You just see
don't
their
have
forehead.
face
It's
in
just like,
they
nice hairdo, Gramps.
right. So you want to make sure that you're seeing the house and the part of the house that you want. Also that it's not on like widescreen or like
Right.
making everything look bigger or making everything look smaller because it's zoomed in. So one of the things that I usually try to do is if I can set a phone or if there's a second person with me or something, I try to like walk through and show them like, hey, here's me in the space
Yeah.
too. Because it's nice to see like, okay, in relation to a person, what does this look like? Also, how is this all laid out?
Mm-hmm.
And then zooming in on, like the little imperfections and like getting, like what does the baseboard look like? What does the condition of the floor look like?
So this kind of ties into another big point. It's like, if you do have family or friends or any connections here,
Oh, yeah.
you could send them on your behalf to meet us at a house so that they can give you their honest opinion of, they probably know you better than we do, right? If we just started talking, and they'd be able to really help out with that. Like, this house works, this house doesn't work.
Or like, oh my gosh, you're going to hate this. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Right.
even think
Stuff
about
that
it.
we would never even know, right?
Right.
It's really good. But if that can't happen, then the substitute would be for us to do virtual tours, and we're super comfortable doing that. We've been doing that a lot. It's so common these days that sometimes I'll walk into a house, just for not an open house, just a showing, and do a virtual tour. I got my AirPods, good trick, so it's not like on speakerphone, right? And everyone else could hear if there's anybody else there. There's been multiple times, like this year even, that I get into a house and I'm doing the virtual tour. And I run into another agent literally doing a virtual tour. And I'm like, and that's hello, another agent doing the virtual tour. And it's just a thing now.
Yep.
Yeah, happens a lot.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that want to, buy a house somewhere rather than moving there and renting there. Obviously, that's an option too, but
This whole conversation,
we'll help you if you do that too.
for sure. But this whole conversation is geared towards somebody who, like, whether it's a job incentive to buy, or they're just like, hey, I don't want to be putting 100% interest into rent,
Yep.
Obviously, that's totally an option too, like you said, to rent. But this is for when you decided I would like not rent.
Something else to really consider is if you are relocating for work, how long do you plan to be here for that job? Because some people that relocate multiple times. I feel like the people that stay in Minnesota are the ones that come back for family.
Yeah.
Typically, not always, but if you come here for work, sometimes you're only here for a few years. And even if you are buying a house, one of the things that you really want to think about is like, is there a way to build equity in this? Like, what's my exit strategy of this, depending on, what the next few years do. If you're going to need to sell potentially in the near future too. So that's something to consider. And with our investment background and our knowledge of the entire Twin Cities, we can definitely help with
Yeah,
those
I mean,
things.
I'm dealing with that right now with a client from South Carolina. I don't know if they watch this, but yeah, so we're closing next week. But that was a big thing. It was I might only have this house for like 3 years, so we couldn't just look at like all the homes as like really good options, even if they seem nice. We had to really consider resale.
Yep.
I mean, that's a big tenet in this buyer's plan, right?
Absolutely. Now, if you're going to own a house for like 7 to 10 years, you're probably good. Like you're going to get your money back up typically on a single family home for sure. Even over 5 years, you're probably good. But like if you're starting to get below that, once you take out fees, then you're starting to like dwindle into.
Now
like,
it's not a game of how much equity do I have? How much money did I make? Now it's a game of, can I break even?
Right.
And that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
If you're
And
only
that's
staying
not-
for a couple of years.
That's not what you want to do.
And I don't think
wants to do that.
No one wants to do that, but I also don't think. I think a lot of people understand that too.
Yeah.
Every time I bring it up, people understand it.
For sure. I guess one of the other things that we do is if you are selling a house wherever you are or moving, leaving the Twin Cities and selling this house here and then moving somewhere else, we can help connect you to other realtors in those areas if you haven't
This
those
is
connections
such
yet.
a valuable, underutilized service that we
Absolutely.
do. You can absolutely go on Zillow and find another agent yourself. It isn't hard. You can Google, and I promise you there's like 300,000 agents where you're going. But do you know the right questions to ask? Do you know how to find an agent that's a good fit for you? How to look and see if an agent actually has experience? Are they full-time? Are they part-time? Even if they tell you they're full-time, like, are they? Right? All these things. Do they have the experience with relocations? How long have they been in the city? All those questions, we do that for free as a
Yep.
service. Yes, we do get compensated on the back end from that agent, like a small little stipend, but it's
If
a
you go
lot of
through,
work.
if you go through Zillow,
Yeah.
Zillow gets compensated
Yep.
more than we would get compensated.
Oh, yeah, night and day.
So-
But we are incentivized to keep you happy, right? We
Absolutely.
want to have a happy client with the sale if you're leaving. And then with your buy, we want to make sure it's a good experience and that it's an agent that we also feel comfortable like
Right.
talking to, knowing that they have good communication. Because like I said at the very beginning, this is not two separate things. It is, but it shouldn't be treated as such.
It needs to all work together.
All communication, all parties,
Yep. So
happy
everyone,
universe.
everyone involved in your real estate transactions, if they're happening around the same time, need to all be on the same page.
Over communication.
Yep.
That's key.
Yeah. And, like on a side note, it's kind of fun when you like meet agents from other places and you hear how they're handling things too, because every once in a while, like we'll teach someone something or we'll learn something. And it just helps make us all better too. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
And same with the reverse. If somebody's we were talking about leaving Minnesota, but if you're coming here looking to buy a home and also you need to sell a home, especially if it's like like I have to sell in order to qualify for this home, communication needs to be like buttoned up,
Yeah.
right? It's a lot. It's a process here if you're just moving from one neighborhood to the next, and we do this all the time. But out of state to another state is a little bit more complex on our end. So yeah, leaning on us to help you find somebody if you don't already have someone you trust is pretty key.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's most of the stuff. Obviously, if someone has questions about relocation or relating to this topic, drop them in the comments or feel free to reach out, give us a phone call. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're happy to answer these for you, and we will jump on a call to do so.
Yeah, I mean, this is a topic that we have so much knowledge on. It's almost like hard to rein it in, right? Because it just talking about a bunch of different things, and we could talk about this for a lot longer. But just kind of like buyer fatigue. It's like you just don't want to hear too much, right? Just a bunch of
word vomit of like it's like
everything
drinking
we've
through
ever
a fire hose sort of thing, and then it makes people also feel overwhelmed. And I always tell people when you hear this stuff from us, it's like my goal isn't to overwhelm you, even if it might come off like, oh wow, I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
It's a big process.
My goal is to help you understand that I know what I'm talking about.
True.
And to give you all the information that makes you feel comfortable, even if you don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
then you know what questions to ask and stuff.
even if you have just like retained like 10% of what we said, then you're that much closer to being not stressed about it and kind of understanding. And asking the right questions. So I knew we were going to talk about this topic, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I've been on this AEO kick, this answer engine optimization, building landing pages for like a bunch of different topics for visibility online and also just for helpful pages that people can see that we've created. So I actually last night created 2 landing pages that just outline everything we're kind of talking about in the process. One is on relocation to the Twin Cities, and if you're selling a home as well or not. And then the other one is leaving the Twin Cities. So hopefully I
we'll
remember
link those.
to put those in the
Yep.
in the show notes here. So that might be a nice tool as well.
I think that's great. Obviously, so you can always reach out to us. We've got resources for you. And then additionally, if there's one thing to take away from this, I'm curious what you think, but I think...
Yeah, we always ask our guests that, and I didn't think, that's a good thing.
I think it's just getting extra crystal clear on, like, when you're relocating, you want to be not just kind of clear when you get started. You want to be really clear before we jump into everything and have a clear timeline for how everything should play out.
Yeah. No, that's for sure a good one. I'm trying to think of something unique. I mean, yeah, trust is a big thing, right? So ideally, if somebody reached out to us because they heard this or whatever and wanted to work with us for this, ideally that we build enough rapport to the point where they can trust us to know how to help them through this process. But yeah, and if you're just watching this for entertainment and you live in a different state, never coming to Minnesota, make sure whatever agent that you select or get referred to or anything.
Or if you want us to refer you to an agent there, we can do that too.
We don't have to do anything with the property in order to do so. But yeah, just having a really good gut feeling about the people that are going to be helping you with the biggest asset you likely have.
Absolutely.
So I would say that is probably the biggest thing.
I think so too. Well, I think that's good for today.
It's a wrap. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching episode, I don't even know what number we're on, of Key Conversations. Please do hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment what your thoughts were on today, and like it, and do all the things because it helps our channel grow. Stay tuned for next week with another topic. See you then.
All right, see you then.
If you enjoyed today's episode, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
We'd love it if you'd share this with someone who'd be interested, and don't hesitate to reach out if you want to connect. We're always happy to chat. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.